Honestly, it's one of the biggest recruiting weeks and one of the biggest recruiting months in the history of Georgia's football program. That sounds hyperbolic, but it's actually true because we haven't had Matt DeBerry for 16 months. Any recruits on campus, and now, as Kirby Smart describes it, this is going to be a really wild rush for everyone in college football to get everything in line. So we are going to try to lay it out for you here. Matt, who are the biggest people coming to Georgia this week? And we're talking about prospects.
Right. Well, I mean, every major prospect I feel like is going to be there. We have a giant list over on Dog Post, but the few guys that I have a big eye on the first visits, which is June 1st on Tuesday, is commitment Bear Alexander, five-star guy from Texas. Actually saw the Texas A&M spring game back in April. He's a guy that Georgia needs to keep getting back on campus. He's going to be recruited by major programs across the country until signing day. So Georgia needs to continue to keep him on board, and the only way to do that is to get him on campus. He's going to be in Athens June 1st through the 3rd. So that is, I think, a really big deal. They've got a few commitments in the 23 class. Pierce Spurlin, tight end, 4-star kid that Todd Harley absolutely loves. He's going to be on campus. And a guy that I saw a few weeks ago, Marcus Washington Jr., legacy, 4'4" guy in the 40, highly level, 3-star defensive back. His dad at Georgia. So a few commitments there. Richard Young, 5-star running back in the 23 class, one of the top running backs in the country, regardless of class. That dude is an absolute freak.
Hey, let's
And he
stop.
said, you know what? Go. Yeah, go.
Let's stop right there because running back is kind of a curious situation for Georgia right now. And I did want to, if y'all are not reading what we're hearing about recruiting and so forth, you're going to miss a lot of the details that you really want to pick up. And I want to stop on running back because it actually is really important. You got Treon Webb, who had been committed to Georgia and is not currently. You got Justice Haynes, who is Veron Haynes' son, and you've got Richard Young. Now, Matt, if you read what we were hearing, you're going to understand all this. But let's give our audience here right now kind of an understanding so far just of this one thing. The running backs are a little bit complicated coming into this 22 and 3 class. Go ahead and explain.
Well, they have one on board already in the 22 class, Jordan James, 4-star from Tennessee. He's going to be on campus multiple times in June. That's what we put in our What We're Hearing story earlier last week. And then Branson Robinson, a guy who's going to be on campus for his official visit, Nick Chubb type of clone some people are talking about. He's going to be on campus June 4th, and he's in the 22 class. So he's the most important guy who's going to be on campus this weekend. And then you have 3 of the best 2023 running backs in the country on campus. So if you're the average Georgia fan who's starting to get into recruiting a little bit, some of these names may not be familiar, but the big guy to know is Branson Robinson. Might be the number 1 running back in the country, depending on what outlet you look at. But him campus this weekend, and we're going to have a lot more on him, is a big deal. But it looks great for the 23 class and beyond, Dean. So basically what you need to know is RBU is not going anywhere anytime soon.
No, and that young man's from Mississippi, correct?
Mississippi. Branson Robinson is from Mississippi.
And the biggest thing is that there are a bunch of official visitors this week. I'll start with Gunnar Stockton. I mean, you look at a guy who is probably going to be playing deep into the playoffs. He's committed to Georgia and has been so for a while. It's not as easy to come for officials in the fall, maybe for someone like that. But even if it's closer or not in terms of location, I think you're going to see more and more of official visits in the summer, Matt, because guys are signing in December, and it's not always easy to show up in the fall.
Yeah, and we've seen it a little bit in the past. Zamir White, I think, was a May guy. Kendall Milton, I think, took his official visits in June, made a decision shortly after. But Gunner's going to be there this weekend. Oscar Delp plays on a team who could be in the playoffs. Like you said, he's going to be there this weekend. Their latest commitment in the 22 class, Denylon Morissette. He's now at North Cobb. They have one of the best teams in the state. He actually told me he's not taking any official visits, just his one to Georgia this weekend, and that's it. He's shutting it down. And then Kojo Antwi, another 4-star from my neck of the woods over at Lambert High School. He's going to be making his decision the first week of July. So all of his official visits are going to be in June, and the first one is going to be to Georgia this weekend. So a lot of official visitors this weekend, a bunch of out-of-state guys coming in. Of course, the bigger, more expanded list is over on Dog Post.
Yeah, I mean, there's really value in going and checking it out. It's a great list that was compiled by Matt over time and talking with people, talking with sources. What do you think the biggest thing this week is? I mean, is it Bear? Do you think is it Bear Alexander or is it
I would
Oscar?
say,
I mean, there's a
I would
lot
say
of guys.
Bear Alexander for sure of the commitments because they
Right.
really do have to make sure they keep him on board. He's such a big, talented, defensive lineman, and he's being recruited by everyone else still. So getting him on campus is big. I think Branson Robinson, a guy I mentioned earlier, getting him on board, having your 1-2 running back duo in the board in the summer, I think is a big deal, and he's one of the best running backs in the entire country. So but just getting face to face with these kids is a big deal. I mean, some of these kids have never met the coaches that they've been
Yeah.
speaking with on FaceTime and Zoom. So I know a lot of these kids are excited to get back out there. And we know, we've covered this for years now, Kirby Smart and his staff are at their very best when kids and their families are on campus, seeing things for themselves, sitting down and talking with them. So the ability for the Georgia staff to do that again, I think we're going to see them score a lot of momentum with some of these, targets and current commitments over the next few weeks and in deciding day.
And guys become commits because of the relationships they formed when they're younger with coaching staffs and institutions. There are the report you've got here. I mean, we already talked about Richard Young, the running back, but I mean, you probably have 10, 20, 23 and beyond players. It's more than 10 that you have in this report. There's a lot of guys that I think
Well, I do want
folks.
to say a lot of these guys are camping, working out for the staff, trying to
Right.
get an offer, while others are just going to be there visiting with their family like a normal visit. So just tons of guys on campus either trying to win the staff over or just there to kind of relax and enjoy their time. So.
Yeah, that's a age old thing in college football camps. I mean, there are plenty of people that didn't go while they were on campus, and there are plenty of guys who do. I would say, frankly, that the guys who are more likely to go, they even if they're already committed or whatever, they usually have more successful careers. But that's not always what these trips are about these days. A lot of it is about, particularly now. I mean, everybody knows how Gunner can throw the ball. Oscar can play. This is really about locking in the relationships. I mean, those are just two guys, but I don't want to skip out on the younger guys. It's really important to make sure to talk about the younger players because they will be here one day soon, and they will become the Nick Chubbs, Sony Michelle's, etc. of this program. And it's important to know who they are. And Max got you all covered on that. Make sure you click below. It's got everything for you to read about it. Go to dogpost.com and read the full report, what we were hearing. Thanks for watching. We'll see you over on the website.